Um, myths are usually traditional stories that are often used to explain how something begins, usually in nature, and it can be like a creation myth where it tells how something begins, or it can usually be associated with nature in some way, um, like explaining how sometimes like people explaining how tides in the ocean work. There are lots of different myths with that. How the Earth was created. There are many different myths in different cultures about that sort of thing, depending on what you believe and everything like that. Folklore. Folklore is like a popular story that is passed on through speech, usually throughout generations. And Alex and I really wanted to do this lesson in particular because we took a folklore class about Russian folklore, and this was last year. This was because we were first years. We had to take a first year class, and we got put into the same class, and that's how we became friends. So, yeah. So we know a lot about like more than the average person. We know a lot about Russian folklore.
Yeah.
So, which is not exactly like a topic that usually comes up in conversation, but
boy, when it does.
But when it does, we know what's up. But yeah, American folklore is also folklore in general. There's like a lot of rules associated with it. So we learned a lot about Russian folklore, but we also learned a lot about folklore in general, how it's passed along, how like what are like rules of folklore. Like I remember one time, it usually has the number 3 involved. That's something I remember quite distinctly.
This is about Russian folklore, though. American folklore is different.
Yeah, yeah. It's all pretty different. Let's see. So the next definition that we wanted to talk to you guys about is the American pioneers, and that's where a lot of these folk stories and legends come from. There are people who traveled west when new land was bought in the U.S. So around like the late 1700s, early 1800s, around that time period, people were traveling, and let's move to the map here that I drew. It's awful. People were traveling west, and Alex, point to where we are right now, sort of.
That's New York up here.
Yeah, ish.
That area.
Yeah. So like
we're like over here.
Yeah. Okay. So people went that way. So like this is where places like California are today, Washington State's up there, Oregon, and like Texas is over here. This is the Southwest, Texas, Arizona, things like that, and the Grand Canyon is like here. So yeah, if you've heard of any of those places, kudos to you, good job. If you haven't, like we have the map, so so yeah, we'll try and explain it as best we can. But basically, people were moving in a westward direction because they were settling the new land that the U.S. had purchased recently. So yeah, this also has a lot to do with history. So it's about American history. It's a pretty interesting time period, and which leads us to the American frontier, which is what? It can be. Yeah, I could just. The American frontier, which is basically that expansion, that land that people were expanding into from the east going west. So it was that part of the land that the settlers were settling at the time, and they called it the American frontier because it was like very wide, lots of plains, lots of there were lots of flat lands that people were settling into. But when you got further west, sometimes there were mountains. The landscape is very, very different in the U.S. It's different everywhere. It's vastly different pretty much everywhere you go in the U.S. So yeah, and that's one of the great things about college is when you come here and you can learn about how like other people's environments as well as like how they live in their states. It's vastly different. So it's very, very cool.
Lumberjack
Lumberjack.
is a guy who cuts down trees.
Yeah.
However, there's a very like Americanized image of what a lumberjack is, and it's a guy with a really long beard, and he wears plaid all the time. Do you guys know what plaid is?
Yeah.
It's like a crisscrossy pattern.
Like checkers.
Checkers, yeah, and the red and black usually.
Yeah, that's like the stereotype.
Yeah, a stereotypical lumberjack is very bulky. He's got a lot of muscle. He's tough looking,
and he has an axe.
And he
chops
has an
down
axe.
trees.
Yes.
That's like his whole job, you know. Yeah, and then after he chops down the trees, he picks up the trees and moves them somewhere else and builds a house with them. Sometimes, yeah.
They're very manly.
Yeah, great. And we'll get to that part later when we talk about the specific people involved with that definition. And the Apache were mentioned. That's just a type of Native American that was settled in the U.S. And we didn't really focus on this one legend in particular, but there was a legend that in the article that I sent you called it was about Geronimo, and apparently he was an Apache Native American, and he like sought revenge on white people and killed a lot of them. So that was one of them, I guess. I've never heard of that one, so we just wanted to talk about the ones that we had heard most popular. So we never heard about him. So yeah, but yeah, if you read about it, then that's cool. Okay, so yeah,
ESP stands for extrasensory perception. It's the ability to like see things that aren't there, like ghosts, or to hear things like ghosts, or talk to the dead. Did you pick up the Oh yeah, true. Like telekinesis is what we call it. It's when you can pick things up with your mind.
Okay.
This is not real, or maybe it is. I mean, it's probably not, but you never know. It's like it's fun to think of it sometimes. Anyway, so the reason ESP is on here, which seems very random and bizarre, it's just because that same guy, Geronimo, that we were talking about earlier, he was supposed to have killed all of those white people using ESP. Is mine. So that's pretty neat. I really wish I had heard of this guy when I was younger, but they probably didn't tell me that because like he killed thousands of people supposedly. Anyway, a coonskin cap is something that came up in the article that I highly doubt anyone would know about. It's do you guys know what a raccoon is? It's a type of animal from the US. It's really weird looking, you know.
Raccoons are cute.
I mean, I guess. But what are you doing? That's awful. Okay, so
like a plume.
Alex, do us all a favor. Look up a coonskin cap.
I understand. My art skills are not
Whatever.
good enough.
So anyway, a raccoon is just this weird looking thing.
Cute.
They're nocturnal. They live in the woods. They're sort of freaky. And so like French Canadians specifically, but then it sort of became a trend in the Western United States. When you have a raccoon, like it would be really cool to use it as a hat. So they killed them and used them as hats. And they had the raccoon tail hanging down from a part of the hat. Have you ever seen like Western movies with that sort of hat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is the hat.
Yeah, it's the coonskin cap. So like a raccoon skin cap.
Oh.
They just call him a coon.
Yeah, they just call them a coonskin because that's like cooler or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's like what it's called. So and when we get to Davy Crockett, that's like one of the things. Also, this word rifle, or it just means a gun, if you didn't know, just in case.
Like an older type of gun.
Yeah, it's an older gun because we're talking about a historical period, obviously, a time where they didn't have like the handguns that we have now. They have like these big giant things or long.
Hmm.
You have to do what?
You have to pack the gunpowder into a rifle as opposed to putting bullets in it, right?
I don't know anything about that. So.
Alex.
Okay. Well, Alex knows things about guns, which is a little unsettling.
I've never shot a gun and I don't.
Yeah, it's true. Okay, so let's get to talking about the legends. Alex, do you want to take this part? And then we can talk about the map and where these guys are from. Yeah. So all of this. Okay. Oh, who just joined?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine too.
Good. Right now, we're talking about legends from the United States. So, like these stories that we're told sometimes when we're little, from the United States, or sometimes in the case of other things, they can be out from an outside place, but an Americanized version of that thing, like Santa Claus, for example, right, Alex?
Santa Claus. Have you guys heard of Santa Claus before?
Yeah. You always see it from
Yeah,
from the television.
Huh? I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Yeah. We always see it from the television's movie, like Home Alone.
Home Alone, yeah. Home Alone. You guys watch Christmas movies?
I didn't like that. Home Alone.
It's such a good movie. Macaulay Culkin. Oh man.
I didn't love that movie.
Who does? Although I prefer the sequel, number 2, Lost in New York, but that's my personal opinion. I don't know about Alex. Any of you guys? You've never seen the sequel?
Nope.
Anyway.
Okay. So Santa Claus, yeah, it's big folklore element. I don't know if I need to go too in depth with this, but
There's many different variations. I know Germans have one. The English one is Father Christmas or something. And yeah, basically
he comes in your house, eats your cookies, leaves you gifts, and exits via chimney.
although I learned recently that the British, instead of putting cookies and milk near their Christmas tree where Santa can find it, like Americans do, they put like sherry or something, some alcohol.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. At least that's what I heard. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but Alex is scarred. I don't.
I mean, if he has to drink sherry at every single kid's house that he goes to, Santa's not
lit.
under the legal limit
No.
for driving a sleigh.
No, not at all. Anyway,
bad joke.
so Santa just, in the Americanized version, Santa comes into your house, fills your stockings with, you hang like giant socks by the fire, and he comes in through the fireplace, puts things in those stockings, and then gives you extra gifts under your Christmas tree. If you were good, but if you were bad or naughty, then you don't get any presents, and you might get coal, but that's like, yeah, that's when people like cared more, I guess, about it.
Yeah.
People don't do that now.
A couple other holiday characters that I'm just remembering now and we didn't put on the board are the Easter Bunny. Have you guys heard of the Easter Bunny?
Funny.
Supposedly, the Easter Bunny comes to little boys and girls' houses on Easter, and they leave Easter baskets hidden around the house. And on Easter morning, kids go downstairs and they're like, "Where's my Easter basket?" Or Easter eggs, and you find get to keep the gifts. It's a cute little.
And there's also Easter egg hunt as well, where you search for eggs. They're like plastic eggs, and they have stuff in them. And then you go search for them, and if you find them, you find like treats or money or something.
And then there's also the Tooth Fairy. Have you guys heard of that?
Oh my god.
Yeah. Tooth Fairy. Yeah, I ever
Is
seen
that a thing in Indonesia?
You put your tooth under your pillow, right?
Yeah, that's right. and then you get some sort of gift.
Money, yeah.
Usually money.
Mhm.
Is it true?
I mean, it worked for me.
I got money.
I got like a couple of toys one time, and I also got
Really?
money.
Uh,
It depends on how much your parents
Yeah.
really care about this.
The Tooth Fairy has favoritism for rich children.
Oh my god!
Well, it's true. If your parents have a lot of money, they're gonna leave more money for your teeth for you.
He's not wrong. It's true. I know, like my cousins get like $10. That's
Dang.
ridiculous. Yeah.
That's like $50 for a mouth.
Okay.
From
Anyway,
Back on topic. There's also the myth of Bigfoot or Sasquatch.
which is not holiday related. We're off the holiday.
Yeah.
The holidays.
Bigfoot. Is it kind of monkey? Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Sort
Yeah,
of.
yeah.
It's like a. It's not really. It's more like a giant furry man-ish thing. It's like a bear man, sort of.
Okay. He's
Man.
described as being, and I quote,
She quotes.
I quotes right now, an ape-like creature that some believe inhabits forests in the Pacific Northwest region of North America. That's up here.
That's like near Washington State, Oregon, etc.
Bigfoot is usually shown as a large, hairy, bipedal humanoid, which means bipedal means he walks on two legs instead of 4 or 3,
And humanoid means kind of human,
but not.
but not.
So yeah, he's kind of like a monkey, but he's got big feet and he walks on 2
hairy.
legs.
Yeah,
And
sketchy a lot.
honestly, a lot of people believe he actually exists. Like, this is one of those folklore elements that
Many people, like more than most, believe that Bigfoot exists, or at least like
not more than it's a minority that actually believe in Bigfoot, but the people who do are very, very into it. Like, there's like entire like online communities surrounded around like finding Bigfoot. There's a TV show.
Bigfoot has been in tons of different exploring TV shows where people like go out and explore and see if Bigfoot exists. There are TV shows actually based on finding Bigfoot.
Although those are
They gotta be.
they're staged.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bigfoot's a thing. I don't believe in it.
Whether it's a real thing or not, we don't know.
Culturally though, he is a thing.
Culturally, he is a thing. He's also called Sasquatch.
And sometimes Yeti.
But the Yeti is like no, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Yeti is an
Never mind.
American thing.
There's a creature that some people believe in called the Jersey Devil. Maddie, can you explain?
I really don't know the Jersey Devil that much. We do live near New Jersey, but still. I think the Jersey Devil is supposed to be like some sort of like demon thing that just like kills people at night. Now, I don't think it's too creative, but like
It's supposed to look kind of like this.
it's supposed to look like
The big thing is that it has hooves.
it has hooves.
Yes, it has hooves.
Oh,
It looks like dragon. Dragon.
yeah, sort of looks like a dragon with hooves, I guess.
Yeah.
So like a goat dragon.
It's
Oh, good.
described as a kangaroo-like creature
Ew.
with the face of a horse, the head of a dog, leathery bat-like wings, horns, small arms with clawed hands, and hooven cloves and a forked tail. It also has been reported to give a blood-curdling scream, which means it's very high-pitched and loud.
Yeah. That is the strangest description of anything I've ever heard in my life. So, yeah,
Same.
I highly doubt that exists, but like, you never know, I guess. Whatever. Some people believe that stuff really exists, and those are people we deem crackpot. That's not a nice term, but usually people who believe in this stuff, as in my experience, believe in it very wholeheartedly. Like, they believe in it a lot.
Yeah, you don't just casually believe in the Jersey Devil.
No, you don't. You either like 100% believe it's out there and have like tons of like computers dedicated to this and have like online personas and the whole shebang, or you just don't believe it. There's not too much in between.
Okay,
Yeah.
the next character that some people believe in is called the jackalope. The jackalope is a bunny rabbit with horns, like a deer.
Yeah. So can we get a picture, please?
Yes.
All right.
That is a jackalope.
It's a bird.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Bunny, that's cute.
Apa sih? Iya.
Is it big? Is it big?
I think they're the same size as a bunny. They
Yeah.
might be a little bigger, but
Mm.
again, it's all.
We don't know.
Yeah.
The rumor or the story behind the jackalope is that one day this bunny wanted to fight its friend, who is also a bunny, and he talked to like this witch doctor, which is like a witch, but like they help people. Storm. And the witch doctor told the bunny, they're like, I can help you fight this other rabbit. And the rabbit's like, okay, please do. So the witch doctor gave the bunny horns like a deer to help him fight him. And then none of the other rabbits wanted to talk to the rabbit with the horns, the jackalope, because he looked weird. Yeah, he was a freak. And he was like, please take away my horns, witch doctor. And she was like, nah. It's not a great story.
Poor bunny.
Like a sad story.
Yeah. It's all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Where's the jackalope from, Alex?
The jackalope is from the Southwest.
Yet again. So yeah, it's that same area.
Mhm.
Lives in the
Which state?
desert. Sorry?
Which state?
Oh, the Southwest isn't a state per se. It's a collection of states. It's many states.
It's like Arizona, Texas, Colorado, New Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I get.
this is like where Texas is approximately, and Arizona's here, New Mexico's here, yeah. The Grand Canyon is here. You can see we're really good at geography.
Also, we don't live anywhere near there. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because in the U.S., if you ask like U.S. citizens to take like a test to either name all of the 50 states or at least like point to which one they are, they're guaranteed to mess up. 100% somebody's gonna get something wrong unless they're crazy, and somehow they know. But usually nobody knows these things. Like Alex and I live here, and although it may seem like we know nothing about our country, which is a little true, I guess, nobody else does either. We know approximately as much as other people, sometimes even more. So yeah, when we talk about the Southwest or the Pacific Northwest or the Northeast, which is where we're from right now, and this is like the Southeast right here. This is like Florida and stuff like that. Or the South is usually what it's called. I forgot the Midwest. The Midwest is over here. Nobody likes it.
It's boring.
It's really boring.
And it's mostly corn.
Mostly plants.
Cornfield.
Cornfield.
Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
So yeah, like it. So those are just regions of the United States. They're not particular states.
Okay.
Anyway, so what else we got, Alex?
Okay. This is Paul Bunyan, but I don't know his story very
Okay,
well,
yeah,
so
how about
Maddie
you
should
hold
tell it.
this?
How about sit down?
Oh yeah. We're gonna need to stand back up.
How do we go, Maddie?
Okay, so The legend of Paul Bunyan is one that I heard when I was a young child in school. Anyway, so Paul Bunyan is a lumberjack, as we discussed earlier, and he was born ridiculously large. He was very large, very strong. He basically, as a lumberjack, he would cut down trees, but since he was so big, he could cut down lots and lots of trees at once, so he was really good at it. And the legend says that he traveled across the United States, going west as they do, and he chopped down trees a lot. And he also, because he was so big, he made natural landmarks, such as the 10,000 like rivers in Minnesota or something. And Minnesota is part of the Midwest. And that was on his journey west. And then he also legend has it, that he made the Grand Canyon because he had an axe, which is a tool he used to cut down trees. And he had an axe so big, and he dragged it behind him, that he created a huge canyon, the Grand Canyon, because his axe just dragged behind him. And he also traveled with this giant ox named Babe, who was almost as big as he was. And he was blue, too, for some reason. So that's about all we know of Paul Bunyan. No one really knows where he came from, per se. I'm guessing from the east somewhere because he traveled west. But yeah, that's all we really know about Paul Bunyan. And
Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett was a real person. Fun fact. So this is where the coonskin cap and the rifle comes into play, because Davy Crockett, he was a legend in that, like, his stories were pretty much already legendary, so there's not too much myth surrounding it. He was a real man who was in Congress at the time. He was in the U.S. government, and he represented the state of Tennessee in Congress. But then people voted him out of Congress, so he got kicked out of Congress, and then he just was sad, and he went to Texas to explore. So I'll take you to the map again. So Tennessee is like over here, and like over here. So he was from that part of the U.S., and then he traveled from here to here, and this is Texas. And he ended up fighting in the Battle of the Alamo, which is right here, which is right near Mexico. Now, and this is where we get into actual history. The Battle of the Alamo was a fight between Mexicans and Americans. I think it was a battle over land, over territory, because this border was changing a lot, the one between the U.S. and Mexico. Mexicans were very angry that, like, Americans tried to come onto their territory, and they fought the Americans, and this was a real battle again. And the Battle of the Alamo was when I think all of the American soldiers were killed by Mexican soldiers. I'm pretty sure Davy Crockett was dead. He got shot and he died in real life. And yeah, so there's a song called "Remember the Alamo" and stuff like that. It's very mournful. But then, like, in the next battle between them, the U.S. killed all the Mexicans. So yeah. Anyway, Davy Crockett was shot and died. But he was legendary, and he was like a legendary fighter. He wore that coonskin cap. He was like the typical Western explorer. So if you've ever seen Western movies, he's in those probably. He's a very legendary figure, and he didn't actually exist. We also have Johnny Appleseed, who more Northerners recognize a little bit, because Johnny Appleseed was also a real guy. But the legend of Johnny Appleseed was that he went all the way west, and he planted apple seeds everywhere, and so apple trees could grow from sea to shining sea all over the country. Yeah, and so But the real story is that Johnny Appleseed was really famous because he was a very nice guy. He was it's true. He was a missionary, so he was like involved in the church, and he spread his apple seeds from like Pennsylvania to Ohio. So like this region of the U.S. So like around here to like here-ish. He spread apple seeds because he's very passionate about apples, and yeah, gave food to a lot of people and jobs and stuff like that, picking apples and orchards and all of those things. So yeah, he is very well liked by those people. So he didn't travel the whole country, but he did travel a little ways right here. And yeah, he did plant a lot of apple trees. So yeah, that's all the legends that we wanted to discuss today.
There's some.
There's definitely others. Like in the article that I sent, there was a lot. There were a lot of them. Like Sally Ann Thunder. I had never heard of her before, and she was the supposed wife of Davy Crockett, although she technically wasn't. That was just a legend. Also, that Geronimo guy I talked to you about. I'd never heard of him.
There's also like urban legends, which are a different realm of folklore that are more modern. So they're newer. Like one that's really popular, used to be really popular, is the myth of Slender Man.
Oh my god!
Have you guys heard of Slender Man?
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I've never been heard about that.
Slender Man is supposedly this really, really tall guy who's very, very skinny, and he wears a suit, and he doesn't have a face.
Oh.
Yeah, oh, and don't forget like the tentacles on this thing.
What?
Scary.
Oh, apparently he has tentacles? I don't... Maybe.
Oh.
I've never heard of him having tentacles before.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's really scary.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's really scary.
It's really sketchy. He doesn't have a face. Here's another picture. There's him with a small child. So yeah, that's an urban legend.
Yeah.
So it's not like as legendary as Davy Crockett traveling westward and shooting Native Americans and getting his territory back or something. It's this sketchy guy in a suit with possible tentacles, and he's like.
But I think it's more likely for people to believe in characters like Slender Man instead of Davy Crockett.
Wait, are you kidding right now?
I think a lot of
Davy
people
Crockett was literally a real person.
Okay, sorry, not Davy Crockett. Paul Bunyan. Nobody actually believes that Paul Bunyan is a real guy.
True,
But
he
there's like a
was,
lot of people who believe in Slender Man.
Paul Bunyan was supposed to be like he was supposed to be like an actual giant, like 100 feet tall or something, with a giant axe and a giant blue ox. Alex has a point there. She used Davy Crockett as a very bad example.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm best at.
Bad example. But yeah, Slender Man is slightly more believable, I guess, than a giant traveling across the West United States. I don't know.
By the way, is it bad or good man? According to the myth or legend?
Slender Man?
Yeah, Slender Man.
What?
You think Slender Man is a real man? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Or good?
A kind of characters that he have. Is it man or maybe is it good or bad?
Is he good? No, he's bad. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right
Slender
now.
Man is bad.
Bad.
Okay, so he's a fictional supernatural character that originated as some internet meme. Do you know what a meme is?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was just a meme from 2009.
Oh.
And suddenly it became like an urban legend about Slender Man. Oh, what's the other Slender Man? Bloody Mary?
Oh, Bloody Mary.
That's an urban legend.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Bloody Mary. I ever read it it's really scary stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
I
stories.
guess urban legends are way scarier than
Yeah,
legends.
that's part of the thing, right?
Yeah.
Although I don't know, that freaking Jersey Devil's pretty scary.
Yeah, if I saw the Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil is like newish though. It's like more new than Davy Crockett and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think legends were mostly made to entertain, because as we talked about the American pioneers earlier, as they were traveling the American frontier out west, it was a pretty dangerous journey. It took a lot of time because they were traveling in wagons, like with horses. Like Native Americans were around and stuff like that. They could attack at any time, potentially. There were wild animals and stuff. Like all of that territory was completely not developed at all. So it was pretty dangerous. And it was also pretty boring. So to pass the time, they made up these legend stories. A lot about landscapes and about like larger than life people and characters to entertain themselves as they traveled on their dangerous journeys. So that doesn't apply to like Santa Claus and stuff like that. But but a lot of the legends that you hear about are like from the West, from that part, the Great Migration, as they say.
Nowadays, people are sadistic and they like to make stories that are scary.
Yeah,
it freaks people out.
You don't want like you're already freaked out if you're an American pioneer and you're traveling west.
They don't need.
You're
anything.
already scared to death. Like you need stories that'll like comfort you slightly. So you go to sleep thinking maybe I won't be attacked by wild wolves at night. Just maybe.
By the way, is the Bigfoot is really exist?
Bigfoot?
Yeah.
No, Bigfoot does not exist.
How do you know?
Maddie, do you believe in Bigfoot?
This is like gonna be the test of our friendship right here. No, but like so hold on.
Nobody knows.
I have this logic. I particularly Alex is gonna kill me. She's like waiting. She's like, "Do you believe in Bigfoot?"
I think she does.
No, I don't. Definitely. Well, like, take mermaids for example. If we talk mermaids, so like they're half woman, half fish. Right. So if you take mermaids, if you think about evolution and how humans evolved from apes, and apes evolved from like lizards or something, and then it goes back for fish. What if potentially, and I'm not talking about like Disney's Little Mermaid. That's a little idealistic. Have you ever seen the Harry Potter movies? The fourth one in particular with the mermaids? I'll tell you more about those, where they're more fish than human. But I feel like there could have been a branch of evolution that we just don't know about, where potentially mermaids could exist. Listen, we know 3% of the ocean, Alex. We would not know if they exist. Okay? Just saying, we wouldn't know.
Okay, Maddie.
So
Your segue.
If that sort of logic is applied to Bigfoot, we might not know. I don't believe in Bigfoot per se. I'm just saying, if we just don't know.
Yeah,
Never know.
Maddie's an agnostic
vampire.
I just believe in the potentiality of mermaids.
Okay.
And if you apply that same logic to Bigfoot, Bigfoot could exist. Maybe. I don't think.
However, there's like less than 0 scientific evidence that either of those things exists.
I mean, there's more evidence of mermaids existing.
There isn't though, really. Like,
Yeah, I asked about vampire.
Vampire.
In you,
Vampire stories, maybe.
vampires, and
Is
you.
that entertaining or
Popular stories?
popular stories? Vampire, werewolves.
Werewolf.
Oh, yeah, werewolves.
Any stories about that?
Jacob.
Like monsters and stuff, like Halloween monsters.
Yeah. Is it urban legend or just myth or folklore or just entertaining?
Yeah, itu sweet.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I'll let Alex take this one since I embarrassed myself already.
Like folklore about werewolves, or are you just? I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Do you just mean like stories about werewolves? Like, is there the same folklore with werewolves and vampires and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
American.
Legends or folklore
Uh,
or just entertaining stories?
Not anything that like derives from the U.S. That's like from the U.S.
Mhm.
Werewolves and vampires are European.
Yeah, actually, vampires are Eastern European.
Yeah. they are.
European.
Yeah, like the whole
I
class
know.
about them.
Alex. we were since we took that Russian folklore class, and Alex is a Russian major. We know that vampires are Eastern European. Alex knows that a lot, actually, and does not fail to bring it up.
Russia.
I mean, of course you do. It's your major. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know any folklore about werewolves. I'm trying to think if I know any other like spooky ones.
Just that, like, werewolves and vampires, at least from where I stand, they really depend on what type of thing you're talking about. Like, if you're talking about certain movies, like if you're talking about Twilight,
Yeah.
vampires versus like actual Dracula, like there's many different interpretations, or like Harry Potter werewolves and vampires versus that stuff. It's all very different. I mean, Twilight, like you just have werewolves like that rip off their shirts and then run into the woods. Vampires that sparkle in the sunlight or something. Versus like actual Dracula, which is terrifying.
Do you guys know any folklore from Indonesia?
Oh, we have so many stories about folklore with Oleg. So many.
Oh my gosh, tell us.
Yeah, I want to hear.
Okay, from Bandung, right? Because I'm living in Bandung. We have Gunung Tangkuban Perahu stories, a mount that is according to the legend. That mount is from the canoe or ship, just like canoe. It is towed by a man, and it's become a mountain. I don't know. It's like that. But there's a story about that. There is a young man who loves his mother, and the mother is she know that that boy is her son, and but the boy didn't know, but the woman that he loves is his mother, his own mother. So
Oh, it's Oedipus. Oh my god. How
yeah,
did he know?
the story is about the mount of Tangkuban Perahu. Yeah, yeah. That young man wants to marry their mother, and but the mother give conditions. If you can make a lake in one night, that the man can marry the woman. And so the young man do what the mother says. But because the mother didn't want to marry her own son, she do some tricks. Gisela, can you help me? Next part.
So,
She awakes us many many women to uh, to apa sih, membunyikan to ring to apa?
Dia mau
Yeah, to make some noises, so some noise to wake up the rooster. So the rooster will think that it's already subuh. Subuh.
Early morning or
Early morning. So the rooster will make a noise like like that, and then so uh, the young man think that he failed about the conditions that his mother's asked. So because of he's so angry, the some kind of little ship boat or a boat, little canoe. He throw the canoe uh, from the lake and until it is upside down like that and it's become a mountain. That is the legend. I don't know, legend or folklore.
Oh, wow.
That is about
That's
Mount
cool.
Perahu, Tangkuban Perahu, because it's from upside down ship canoe, little canoe.
Oh,
That is
wow.
one
Cool.
story. Yeah.
Did he marry his mom?
No, no.
Great.
Because it will be very, very peculiar. Yeah, strange. A mother married
Oh, man.
her own children. No.
I mean, like, was
Forbidden.
there? Yeah, exactly. It's weird. Was there any thing preventing the mother from telling her son that she was actually his mom, or just that like just for the sake of the story she couldn't tell him, so she had to have him like complete tasks or something?
Because the mothers have ability that she is stay young forever. Yeah, the stories that say that the mother is still young, so the children, her children, you don't know that that is his mother. He don't believe that she is her mother, but the mother knows that that is her son because uh, she know that her own children have some kind of mark, but
Uh,
yeah, something like that. She knows
oh,
that he
they
is
all have like the same birthmarks or something, and she can tell you.
when the it's called Sangkuriang and Dayang Sumbi. Sangkuriang when he was a child ever got some kind make her mother angry and her mother throw a spoon to her mother her son to Sangkuriang's head and that is that left a mark from that mark.
Oh my
Yeah.
god! So she just whacked each of her kids with a spoon, and that's how she knows.
Yeah. From the
Wow!
very from
Clever.
that mark, that we know that that is her son, not any other young man. So she doesn't want to marry her own children.
You know, you gotta. You need a way to tell. You know, because like she
And
probably sent the kids away, right? So they
yeah,
weren't raised with her. I wonder,
yeah.
that's really cool. Thank you.
So
Are there
many.
any other popular stories that you guys want to tell us?
Okay, so many. Here in Bandung, we have itu Patengga and in West Java, we have Borobudur, Candi Borobudur. You ever see it?
Temple.
Borobudur Temple.
Lihat di sini.
Borobudur Temple, Prambanan Temple,
Yes.
Loro Jongrang Temple. That is really interesting story. Loro Jongrang.
Okay. Malin
Okay.
Kundang.
Huh?
Malin Kundang.
Malin Kundang. Okay, that is from West Sumatra.
Yeah.
Sumatera Barat. The story is about a child that is punished by God. Yeah. Should I tell you the story?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It starts from a man named Malin Kundang. He is very poor. He lives with her mother, and her mother is really love her child. When her child is growing old, sorry, not growing old, adult, Marikundang go to the city, and he finally become a rich people. And when he come back to the village, the Malingkandang didn't want to accept that her poor mother is his mother. So his mother is very sad and say that your heart is as cold as like a stone. So something happened. Something happened that Maling Kundang is turned to be a stone. Yeah, turned to be a stone. Really.
Turned to stone. Was he like a statue or like a little stone?
Yeah, statue. People
Statue.
say
Shoot.
yeah, that is the stories of Maling Kundang who didn't want to accept his own mother because she is very poor, and he is now rich man.
Did he not help her at all or anything?
Yeah,
He used to. Yeah.
Oh.
he maybe he is shame, very shame because of his mother is very poor. Like that. That is Maling Kundang story. Okay, Bisala, would you like to tell the other stories? So many stories we have.
I just want to clarify that almost of legend story from Indonesia is come from a place, and then people just make a story like it. For example, Tangkuban Perahu Mountain, and then Borobudur Temple, and then Malingkundang Stone, and then what else? Yeah,
Ramadan.
Ramanan. Apa lagi ya?
Oh, Dewi Sri. This is story about the rice.
Oh yes, Sri.
Yeah, Dewi Sri. Dewi Sri, Dewi Padi. We call her Dewi Padi, goddess of rice.
Banyak tahu tentang legends.
So many stories we have. I don't know which one is the best because so many. That is about legend or maybe folklore. And we also have. Do you know about mythos?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, about myth. If we go to the Pangandaran beach, you know, in Ciamis,
Like something people cannot do in the
yeah, don't wear green shirt, green gown, anything green. That is a myth, right?
Oh, that's a superstition.
Yeah,
Like not wearing like a certain thing somewhere. Like you said, you can't
Oh.
wear green when you go somewhere.
yeah. If you go to Pangandaran beach wearing green shirts, anything like that is green, something bad will happen. So
Oh,
don't.
yeah, so it's like bad luck. Well, okay.
Interesting.
Indonesian superstition. Yeah, we've got tons of superstition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's related to the stories about Nyi Roro Kidul,
Oh yeah.
the ruler of South Ocean. South Ocean. That is, sorry, I don't know whether it's there or not, because it's just stories, right? Stories or what we call that?
Apa?
Nyi Roro Kidul. But people until now believe that that still happened.
Yeah, legend.
Until, yeah. don't ever use green shirt, anything that green to Pangandaran beach.
Oh wow.
Busri,
Yeah, I don't know. That is just a myth, but I don't know. Okay, Gisela.
that's a good storyteller.
But I like
Telling about
green.
legend, myth, and something like that. I don't even know.
Ah, that is
Yeah.
year of
It's
Kidul, right?
So very beautiful.
beautiful.
Beautiful
Yeah.
woman, the ruler of the South Ocean in West Java, in Java.
So she is like that person lives in the ocean? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know, it's mythical or just stories, but people believe that until now. That hmm. What else?
The Russians have some of that too. We would know.
It's in America. There's stories like that, like Nyirorokido or like that, some kind of like that.
And then this is Tangkuban Perahu Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Is that where you're not supposed to wear green?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. The story that Bu Sri tell us about Sang Kuryang,
Sang
who wanna marry his mother.
Oh.
Yeah. That's beautiful though.
That's nice.
Tempat destination sekarang.
And Marin Kundang. Do you know the statue of Marin Kundang? Can you picture about Marin Kundang?
Yes.
And there is a
That
stone.
is Marin Kundang.
Oh.
Yeah, that is Marin Kundang statue.
Oh,
It's like
wow.
a human.
That stories from Sumatera Barat. Okay. Apa lagi? Oh ya,
Borobudur. Apa
Borobudur.
Temple.
Borobudur Candi Prambanan.
Sama aja. And there is
Borobudur Temple.
Borobudur Temple.
Oh, that's where you're not supposed to wear green.
Gotcha.
That's beautiful too.
Oh man.
The story.
Surrounded by green.
If you come to the Central Java, you will really like that temple. And Prambanan Temple. Candi Lorong Jongrang, do you have a picture about that?
Prambanan.
Prambanan. Yeah, that is Prambanan. There is interesting story about Loro Jongrang, right? Princess in Central Java. The story is about 99 temple, right? 99 temple or 99 statue. Misalnya, you still remember about that?
You know. Forget about that things. Sorry. I'm not as good as you.
Yeah. I forget about story, but it's a really long story. That Princess Loro Jongrang is very beautiful princess, and so many prince or king want to marry her. But the prince, I really forget about the prince Tandung Bondowoso, or I don't know. And the other is the king. I don't know what's the name. I forget. They want to marry her. Princess Loro Jongrang is didn't want to marry the king, and he gave a conditions to the king that he must make a 99 or 100 temple in one night. It's really
Oh my gosh, that's just like a story that.
really impossible to do.
Yeah, there is a story very similar to that. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, in one night, you have to build or 100 temple and with the statue. But unfortunately, the king cannot do what the princess wants. Oh yeah, Princess Rojonggrang do some tricky things like ada yang sumbi. Yeah, she made the king's fail by something tricky because she didn't want to marry the king. But it's only 99 temple, if I'm not wrong. 99, right?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. She made the tricky thing. The king failed, but the king know that Princess Loro Jongrang is cheating. Yeah, by doing something to make him fail. According to the stories, yeah, uh, she because that king is really really powerful. She made the princess become the statue. If I'm not wrong, right, Miss Lala? Is that true? I really forgot about the story, but yeah, that is story about that temple. It's really beautiful temple if you come to not West Java, in Central Java, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Central Java. And what else? We have so many stories here.
Yeah, that's so fun.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
And
cool. They're all alike sometimes.
yeah, because we are come from so many kingdom. Many years ago, we have because we have a lot of island and a lot of island is ruled by kingdom. So many kingdoms, so many language, so many culture, so many. Yes, so many because yeah, so many. So we have also so many stories about some place with the myth, with the legend, with the superstitious.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's so neat.
is there anything we want to say something? Miss Lala, Alex, do you want to ask something?
You.
Maddie,
Do I want to ask anything?
yeah, you want to ask something?
Have you ever seen the serial movie from like apa sih? Once Upon a Time? Do you know it?
Yes.
Oh yeah, Once Upon a
I
Time.
used to watch that show all the time.
Yeah, I love that story.
Oh yeah, those are a lot of Disney characters come to life, sort of thing. Yeah, I think I watched up until season 5, and then I couldn't do it anymore. Did you watch that show too?
What?
Did you watch the show too?
Yeah, only me. And then
It was a good show. It was a good show.
yeah, that's a good show. And then Teen Wolf, there's a lot of werewolf, vampire, or monster. Teen Wolf, you know it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never watched it, but I've had lots of friends who watched it.
Yeah, I just know it from my friends, just because I love a mystery story. So yeah, I just watch it, but not finish it.
Yeah, I heard it just got finished, and people are crazy about it or something.
Yeah. Okay. And then what else? I don't know. I think the time is up.
I still want to.
Okay, your turn.
Because I really so it's so long not talking to Maddie.
Oh,
Okay.
just miss Maddie so much.
You guys, so sweet.
Okay. I want to talk about ESP.
Oh, who doesn't?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What is ESP means? I forget.
extrasensory perception.
Extrasensory perceptions. Okay. Would you like to tell something?
It's a psychology term, but it's not like a real thing. It's just like a thing people think they have, but they actually don't. It's more of like a psychosis, meaning they're crazy.
But Alex learned about it in psychology.
Okay.
So even if it's not real, a lot of people believe that they have some variation of it, and yeah.
Yeah, it's like a sixth sense. It's described.
Okay. Is there any story that is in Hobart and US Colleges, maybe in the building, in some
like specific stories to HWS?
Story.
There's the rumor that someone committed suicide in the third floor of a dorm building. And that's haunted.
Not ours, but one of the dorms near us. One of the all-female dorms. Yeah. Apparently somebody like jumped off the third floor or something and killed themselves. Is there a Seneca Lake thingy?
Oh yeah, there's the really cool story about there's this statue of an Indian in the middle of Geneva, right by Seneca Lake.
Really?
Yeah, you haven't heard this story?
No.
Okay, so there's buildings lining all around the lake.
Oh,
right?
I didn't know she was a Native American.
Yeah.
Oh. I know, like, we took a tour of Geneva, and as you know, as you may or may not know, Geneva, where we are right now, is right next to a giant lake. It's big and very deep. I know that I don't know if this is the same thing that you were discussing earlier,
Yeah.
but the statue of a woman, like, looking out at the lake.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, you tell me.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's a woman. She's shirtless.
Yeah, you're right. It's a woman. It's a woman, Native American, and people for the longest time tried to build apartment buildings in front of her.
She's facing the
she's facing the lake, and they tried to build buildings along the lake because, like, that's great retail. Like, who doesn't want to live by the lake like that? Problem was, they kept burning down, but it was only the buildings right in front of the Indian woman and not the buildings off to the sides. So after, like, several attempts to, like, rebuild these things, they just gave up. And rumor has it that the statue wants to be in the lake. So.
Okay.
Is there any like lake monster in Seneca Lake?
Oh yeah, there's like a
like
rumor that there's like the Seneca Lake monster, but nobody actually believes in it.
Have you ever heard of the Loch Ness monster?
Yeah, we have heard that. Is it true?
You know, it's not an American thing, but you know, there are apparent lake monsters in other lakes in the U.S. as well, like we said, Champy or something.
Yeah, there's a rumor about a Lake Champlain monster that actually people buy into.
Yeah.
Not like the Seneca Lake monster, where it's just like something people joke about.
Well, the Lake Champlain is much bigger.
Yeah, Lake Champlain is very big, and I would take a ferry, which is like a really, really big boat, across Seneca Lake to get from New York to Vermont when I was a kid.
Seneca Lake?
Not Seneca Lake. Oh my God, Lake Champlain. I'm sorry, Lake Champlain. And every time I was on there, you know, my grandma would always tell me, "Look out for Champy or Champ." Champy, Lake Champlain monster. And you can get like T-shirts with him on it and stuff.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing.
Not as popular as the Loch Ness monster, but you know, I mean, the Loch Ness monsters had like actual movies with the Loch Ness, like with it in it, like based around it. But Champy is still there, I guess. It's not HWS, but
and you know. Yeah, the Seneca Lake monster. People believe in it because Seneca Lake's so deep.
Yeah,
it's like
Seneca Lake is the
deep.
deepest Finger Lake. It's like 400 feet deep or something.
Yeah, they used to test military submarines in Seneca Lake.
They did?
You didn't know that?
Oh my god. Holy crap. No, I did not. Why don't they do it anymore out of
They don't
curiosity?
need to.
Oh yeah, was that like World War II or something?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, well, you know.
It's a freaky place.
It's also the lake trout capital of the world.
And that's a verifiable fact.
That's
It's
a
not
real fact.
folklore.
That's not a myth. You heard it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Lake trout capital of the world.
Oh, it's actually only the lake trout capital of the United States.
What? Why do they say capital of the world?
No, we hold the. Wait, is it the capital?
It's the lake trout. Who else is gonna have lake trout?
Because I know.
Be real. Seneca Lake is Geneva's not famous for a lot of things, but it is famous.
Sorry. No, we do the National Lake Trout Derby, but we're the world capital of lake trout.
Do it.
Sorry, Matt.
So yeah, we have like the most lake trout or something in the entire world, right here in Geneva. I know that boggles your mind, but yeah, that's.
I'm trying to think of other campus
There was
stories.
a clown scare last year, but that's not really but that was just everywhere. Where people were like dressing up as clowns and like harassing other people in the dark, like in the nighttime. And around Halloween last year, there were a lot of clown sightings where people were dressed up as clowns around campus, supposedly.
College campuses all across the United States.
Yeah,
This is,
all
like, an issue.
everywhere. Like there were actually some in some campuses, but I don't think ours. There was actually a person.
Oh.
But I don't think that counts for anything. That's just like
Kind of an urban legend.
sort of. But it was like a meme that came to life for like that part of the year. Yeah, that's about.
Scary.
Yeah, I think that's about it for HWS stories.
There's definitely more. There's one professor on campus who will go around and do like.
What?
Yeah, no, it's
Who
the
does
thing.
that?
I don't know. Heard about? I think. Yeah, Alex. Never mind. Anyways, what?
You just look funny when you do expressions
Your
like
boyfriend.
that. I
Wait,
just love expression lately.
Alex has a great expression. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss Lala, would you like to share another stories or about urban legend? Or Miss Enda?
Enough, ma'am. Because Alex looks sleepy.
Yeah. Oh, too bad. I really want to continue these stories, this conversation. Okay, the time is up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay then. You may
It was
close.
so much fun.
Yeah. Okay. You may close this conversation today. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Maddie.
Learning about your stories.
Alex.
Have a good day.
Bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Good night.
Bye.
Udah nggak ada.